Hi folks, something a little different for today. I'm in one of my sections of woods, and as you can see, we've had some wind damage here with some of these trees. This one blew over. I'll show you another one it has here too, but I just wanted to show you what the plan's going to be here. I guess it's over the last few months we've had a couple really windy storms that have come through, and as you can see, these were healthy trees. The roots weren't deep enough to withstand against the wind, and this huge tree, you can see the branches are way up in there. I mean, there's firewood way up on the end there. As long as they're 3 or 4 inches or more in diameter, I can burn it easily. But down here, I'm pretty sure that this is a soft maple, silver maple, I believe. Could be wrong, but I believe so with the way the bark is. I'm not expert on all my trees. This is what they call a soft maple. The wood is not as dense as the hard maple or the sugar maples, the kind they use for maple syrup, but it does burn hot. Not long, but hot. So it's a good wood to have in your stove, especially if you need to get things warmed in a hurry, or if you want to increase the temperature in there to really ignite some of the slower burning hardwoods. It's a great species to use for that. And as you can see back here, it's hard to know perspective wise. Let me see if I can kind of show you here. There's my hand in a smaller part. I would say that the trunk right here around the base, oh, I bet that's a good 30 inches. And that's huge. And it's a twin, like you can see here, it's a twin, sort of a twin trunk, a twin tree, or a secondary trunk was growing out of it. And then it just continues and continues and continues up through. A huge top on it. Maybe that's part of the reason why it blew over, because there was a lot of weight on the top and the roots just couldn't hold it up. But this is going to provide a lot of firewood. Usually these soft maples, they will season in less than a year, so it may be possible that if I cut it now, that I could stack it to use, say, in February. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how I get into it when I start cutting it and see how it dries out over the summer. But it's not like some of the harder trees like the oaks and the hickories that you really have to give them a couple years to season well before you burn them. But I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to show you the other tree that blew down here too that we're going to harvest. Here's a second huge tree. Again, the wind blew it over. You can see it ripped out right by the roots. It was healthy. In fact, you can see the dried leaves on the very end there that died after the tree blew over. This was one that, I think this was early winter or late fall maybe. But this is a huge red oak. Much more dense tree. A lot more BTUs in this wood. As you can see, this is fairly substantial size too. I would say that probably, it's hard to tell where it's split there. Probably you're talking maybe 25, 26 inches at the base. Now they flare out a little bit at the base. The oak trees tend to, so. But even here, I mean, this is a good, I bet right here where my hand is, I bet we're talking a good 15 to 18 inches. So there's a lot of weight and a lot of wood in this. Again, it's got a huge top, a lot of smaller pieces there that can be cut. So there's a lot of firewood in this as well. I also have a number of dead oak trees right in this area too that I didn't notice before. See right there, that was another red oak. You can see right in the middle of the screen there. I'm following it up to the top. You can see the top is shot. And that one's been dead for a while, but it's still standing, so the firewood's still good. It's not rotted yet. So I'll probably take that one down. And there are a couple more here I'll show you. But while I'm here, I thought maybe I'd just give you a little primer, at least to my understanding of what some of these species of trees are. Now these right here are gray birch, these little ones. And we get a lot of birch in here, a lot of variety of birch. This tree here, you can see it's not quite big enough for a saw log yet, but it's doing well. This is a sugar maple or a hard maple. You can see the bark is much rougher than that other one that I showed you. This is a more dense tree. It's going to burn hotter longer than the other kind of maple, but we have a lot of those here too. I already showed you the one red oak there. Here's another one next to this northern hemlock, but you can see the shape of the bark, the coloration of the bark. I sometimes get my red and black oaks mixed up, but I don't think we have too many black oaks in the woods here much anymore. I think these are mostly red oaks. But we do have other varieties of oak here too that are also good, not just for firewood, but for lumber as well. This one here, this is a white oak. You can see again the bark is a little bit different. The white oaks really tend to flare at the base. The leaves are a little different. Everything's just starting to leaf now, so I can't really show you exactly the difference there, but by the bark you can tell them. The white oak is also very good, a lot of BTUs, a heavy hardwood. And there in the distance behind this little clump, there's another red oak. But there's another oak here that I just noticed a little earlier that I wanted to show you. I know we have some of them, not a whole lot perhaps, but we have some here. And that's this tree here. This is, I believe, a chestnut oak. You can tell that because the bark is much more aggressive, much rougher than like the red oak bark there is. It sticks out more, it's more three-dimensional, it's a heavier bark. A chestnut oak, or I think they call it a rock oak. We have a few of these here on the farm. I've seen them different places here. They're not as plentiful as the red or the white oaks are, but there are a few of them here, and they do burn too, and they do use them for lumber. They're not as well liked, shall we say, as the red oaks are, but just wanted to show you that one here. And then, as I said, this area here has a variety of different kinds of trees in here. There's two white oaks there, and there's a red oak, and so on. And then we have other maples, certainly birch. We have some poplar in here, different places. We have some beech, not much of it, but there's some. And then of course we have essentially the two varieties of conifers, certainly the hemlock, and then also we have white pine here too. Of course that you don't burn, it's not good for burning, but if they grow well, they're good for lumber. Right now there is a disease, a wilt or a rot or something in the hemlocks that is damaging them. So I don't know what the future is going to be for hemlocks here. The last time I had timber cut, maybe, what is it now, 8 years ago here, I told the logger to just take out any hemlocks he could, because even if he just chipped them up for chips, because if they're all just going to die in the woods anyhow, I might as well use them for something. Same thing with the northern ash. We have some of that here. There isn't much of it still alive, but there's still some around. But this part of my woods, I have a lot of nice oaks here. They did harvest in here 8 years ago and took the biggest ones out, and now you're seeing the growth since. So I'm thinking that maybe within another 5 years or 8 years or so, I can probably bring the loggers in again and do more select cutting again. Just keeps the forest healthier. It's income in my pocket, and also it helps it helps everything as far as regeneration goes. It creates cover for the animals. It adds more fertilizer to the soil, of course, because you have chips and tops and limbs and things like that don't always get harvested, that go back into the ground. So, and then the smaller trees don't have to compete as hard for the moisture and nutrients, so they grow big the way it should be. Well, let me just show you here. I'm just about finished with this. There were two other red oak trees here that are dead that I'm also going to take. I think that was it. There might be some more. This was a leftover stump from the last time they harvested. That was a huge red oak. In fact, it was too big for me to even try to deal with my saw to try to harvest the stump wood. I mean, there might still be some good in the inside there, but this part is basically all rotted. But in here, there could be some more good, but it's just so big to try to deal with just a firewood saw, and so heavy that I just didn't bother with it. If I had better harvesting equipment, you know, that I could just use a bucket tractor or loader or whatever, that'd be different. But and then back over here, close to where I showed you the silver maple, the soft maple, right here is another red oak that is dead. This one's a bit bigger. Gonna be a little trickier to fall. I think it'll fall towards me in the direction the way it's leaning. But you can see the stuff growing on it, that it's dead. Again, you get an idea how big we're talking here. A lot of firewood in this, even though it's dead. It's very solid. It's going to have a lot of good firewood in it. It's not going to do anything. It'd sit in the woods here for maybe another 10 years and then fall over and rot. So might as well harvest it. And then finally, closer to where the road is, and I'm going to have a tricky way of trying to get in here to collect this wood. I think I can get in with my tractor, but we'll try that. And I got one more dead red oak here, as you can see. And this one still has a fair amount of wood in, not as big as the other ones, but again, you can get an idea with my hand here, and it's good and solid yet. So that's going to be more good firewood that I'll get from that. And again, that's also dead, so that's not going to amount to anything other than to be used for firewood. It's a shame these that died didn't get big enough to make saw logs, but hey, that's what happens. There's another hard maple right here, another red oak there. There's a clump of three or four white oaks. There's I think that's a bigger birch, and then a red oak, a big red oak. You see the small white pine that's there. Some of these big ones, when they come out, the white pines will be able to grow better. More hard maple over there, and so on. I won't try to inventory the whole woods for you, but just an idea of the variety that's here and the value that it has, certainly as lumber trees, certainly for lumber trees, but also when they die off like this, it just makes great firewood. It's just the work to cut it, collect it, split it, stack it, and store it, you know. But it's free fuel, wood that will heat our home for in the years to come. So, and for those of you that, I heard this the other night on a video that I wanted to mention, those of you who think that this is not being environmentally responsible, firewood is actually one of the cleaner ways to heat your home, because basically it's carbon neutral. The amount of carbon that burning firewood puts off is the same as it took in as it grew. So it's just expelling what it had. So it's not adding more net or whatever carbon to the atmosphere. It basically is just releasing what it's already collected when you burn it. So you're not adding to this so-called carbon dioxide global warming nonsense. So don't think that you're being a polluter if you're burning firewood. You're not. So I know that for environmentalists that just doesn't sit well with them, but who cares? They don't really care about science anyhow. It's all emotionalism. At any rate, enough preaching. But so that's the plan here, and I'll show you as I process through this. I haven't done many firewood videos lately, but hey, while I can get in the woods here before everything grows up, I've got to at least make an attempt to cut this up, and then maybe late fall I can come back and bring it back and split it and stack it. Okay, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like our channel as we endeavor to build a life living in the country on a shoestring.